Okay, hi, this is Miss Waddle again, and I'm looking at using our database, Student Resources and Context. This is the second part. In the first part, we showed how to access it and how to find articles that you might be able to use. Just as a real quick review, I found some articles. I was looking at the Black Power movement for a U.S. history class project or presentation, and so that's what I did. This is something I searched. Now I'm on the page it's searched for. I want to point out what we had found was a primary source that was a speech by Stokely Carmichael. And I just want to show you this too, that another way, if you happen to see names of people or something that looks really interesting that you want to do a search within your results, you can do that. So under everything here, there's a search within results. So I can click here and I can go ahead and put that in there, and that will come in. And I can search it here rather than searching the whole database. I'm just looking at the results from Black Power movement when I do this. And so then I click on it, and what I get are fewer results, only things that have Stokely Carmichael's name in them. And so whereas a minute ago I had, say, 56 reference articles, now I have 26 reference articles that mention him. Okay, we had looked him up before, and he was a primary source of the Black Power speech. And we noted too that you can always tell what kind of thing you're looking at, whether it be a speech or an article or a web page or a review, a book review, whatever, because it'll tell you over here. And we'll also always tell you what level you're reading at, and this one's intermediate. Okay, we clicked on the article to kind of just to get into it. And there are several tools here. Notice again that every single article will always tell you the reading level. We have several tools over here to the right. One thing I want to look at first that can be very handy is this listening tool. The listening tool is automated listening. It's computer sound, so it sounds a little bit different. I want to play a little bit for you so you can hear what it sounds like. Okay, hang on just a second.
Black Power speech, July 28, 1966. On July 28, 1966, Stokely Carmichael gave a speech in which he explained the Black Power philosophy and outlined what African Americans needed to do to make the movement work.
Okay, so you got kind of a sense of what that's like, and it doesn't sound too bad. Stokely, I think, is a mistake. I'm betting on Stokely. That's what I've heard my entire life, so I'm going with that. All right. Over here on the side, we also have some, like I said, some very cool tools, some of which are really obvious. You know, if you click on the dictionary, you can put a word in there and look it up. You can print articles, you can email articles. I would always encourage students to email articles to themselves. If you know you're going to use an article, you should absolutely email it. That way, if a teacher has a question about where you got your information, is it valid? Is it credible? Does it have authority? Anything from our CARP method, you could definitely show that it does, because you got it from here, and you'll be able to access it again straight up for your teacher. One funny thing is when we have kids sometimes in the library say, oh, you have to send it, from your email to your email. Well, I have actually had kids then put your email in here, and they do the same here. That's not what I mean when I say from your email to your email. I mean like your real email address. So myself, Victoria Waddle is my name, and I have an email at the district, Chaffey Joint Union High School District.net. So that's my email. And then I would, and I didn't even do it right. Hang on. Chaffey Joint Union High School District. That's my email. And I would send it to the same email, Victoria Waddle at cjuhsd.net. From me to me. That's what I actually mean. Okay. And I would actually, you could leave it as HTML. I would change it to a PDF article before I sent it. That way it just comes out. It has a nice look to it when it arrives. And then I would send it to myself. Okay, so that's something that you can do. Another tool that's handy, I don't use it myself, and I'm going to talk to you about why, but it is handy, and I want to show it to you, is the citation tool. When you click on it, it'll give you a citation for the article, speech, website, whatever that you're looking at, okay? The automatic default citation is MLA 7th edition, and that is the citation that is required in the Chaffey Joint Union High School District. The citation itself that's required is this. I'm going to outline it so you can see it. The document URL is not required unless the teacher asks you to have it. If a teacher doesn't specifically ask you for this, don't include it when you make your Works Cited page, okay? Here you can download this, and then that saves the citation for the article for you. You can also, besides downloading it, you can export it. if your school uses any of these tools. We're looking at getting EasyBib as a tool, and if we do, we'll make some online tutorials to show you how to do that. But for right now, you can download it if you'd like. I don't do this because I don't want separate downloads of separate citations. What I actually do is I make a Word document before I start. And that Word document, I save it under something that shows that this is my project. So let me just show you here for a second. And I have to do this. This one's actually saved online. And the only reason it's saved online is because of the screencast will not show you the Word documents. It just looks blank. It's like they're not actually showing up. But if I have them as a tab, then you can see them as a tab. And so this is a works cited page where I have just copied and pasted the works cited off of the article. So if I go back, hang on to the article, and I can also, this is another place I can get it just to show you. At the bottom of the article, let's say I read the whole article, I really liked it. At the bottom it says source citation, and I can also highlight it here as well. And I can just right click it and copy it. And then when I go into my works cited page that I said I've already created and saved, then I can paste it here, which I've done. Okay, so that's one way. And then what you, of course, want to do when you create your works cited page, you want to name it something that makes sense. Black Power works cited page, because you will have several research papers and you don't want them all just say works cited page, or you're going to get lost. And then you're going to put it in folders that make sense to you too. You're going to create a folder that says, U.S. history, and then you're going to create a subfolder that says Black Power Research Project or whatever, and then stick everything about that into that folder. And so that's going to make it handy for you. Okay, so let's go back to our original article or our speech. Okay, so that's a thing that we can do. That's really, really handy. Some other things I want to talk about is that when you get into an article, you can highlight sections of the article and you can take notes right here and you can save them and download them. And this is handy because a lot of times teachers will ask you to do this. They'll say, hey, I want to know where you got your articles. I want to see how you're highlighting, things like that. Let's say I've got an article here that I started to highlight because I thought this was an interesting section. And so let me go back through and highlight again, see if I can change the color or not. I don't know if they'll let me, just so I can show you. I'm looking at this article in terms of like how I can compare some stuff from the 60s to what's been going on more currently. That's going to be part of my research or part of my conclusion is, what things have changed, what hasn't changed. And so I click on highlight and it gives me various colors. Now I had highlighted it in yellow, but if I want it to be green, it could be green or whatever, or maybe not. Maybe once you highlight it, it won't let you change it. I think it will, but I may be wrong. Okay, I lied. For right now, let's just stick with yellow. Okay, so it's yellow. But what I also can do when I highlight things is I can take notes. So I highlight this and I highlight this part down here too with this, the extremist. I like this idea because I think it is connected to something today that we don't have to make any apologies about it, obey any law that we didn't have a part to make, especially if that law was made to keep us where we are. And I can make a note for that. And the note that I can make for that would be just compare, like I could type in a note. So I type in the note, compare the idea to current events in Ferguson, Missouri. So I type that note in and then I just save it. And then I have my note. Now we come back up here to highlights and notes and we'll see that I do have two. And when I click on them, it'll show me what they are. You can see that the text is highlighted in yellow and that this is the text I highlighted, this is the other text I highlighted, and this is a note I created. So let's say I have a teacher who says, hey, you know what? I want to see 3 articles that you used. I want to see how you highlighted them. I want to see the notes that you took. And I want you to give them to me on turnitin.com. I want you to drop them all there. You think, well, how the heck would I do that? Now she's asking me to do something that's hard. Well, here it's kind of not that hard. What you're going to do is just download the articles and you're going to put them into whatever assignment she creates on turnitin.com. So the first thing I would do is I would change the format to a PDF format before I downloaded it. So I'm going to do that now and download the article. The article is going to ask me where I want to save it. I'm going to save it to the desktop. You will actually save it like if you created a U.S. history folder and one in a subfolder that said Black Power Research Project, you would save it in that folder, of course. But for right now, I'm going to save it here. You would change the name of this to, article number 1 for the Black Power project. You would do that. So you would do all those things and then you would save it. Okay. Once you do that and have it saved, you have it in a format where you could give it to your teacher. And so let me go ahead. I think you can't see this. Let me move this over a little bit, and hopefully now you can see it. This is what it looks like when it comes back in the PDF format. So it's very nice in print. It has my highlighting, and it also has for the teacher, which is really handy, at the end of the article, it shows which text I've highlighted, and then it also shows the notes that I had written down. So if I had highlighted a lot of text on long article, or if I had taken several notes, it will list all of them, and it lists the note directly under the text that it's associated with, making it very easy for the teacher to grade. And so everybody becomes a really happy camper. Okay, let me go back then to the article and try to make sure you can see that. Hopefully you can see it now. And those are just things that I would do that I find very, very handy. You can share if you're working with groups. Like I think I said, the translation tool is kind of funky because it's a computer translation. It won't sound exactly natural. You have all of those things. Other things that you guys can do as you get more advanced, if you look up here into the search bar, you can search for just one type of resource. Like if your teacher says, I only want you to find a primary resource, then you're only going to search there. And so you would click on that. There's a lot of other things you can see here. You can search, I only want websites. I only want academic journals. I only want this or that. The other thing that you can do is you can make advanced searches. And when your search becomes advanced, you are really looking at very specific things. Like you could, down here where it says limit by, if your teacher says, I want an article that was written in 2014, you can just limit it to articles in 2014 only, from January to December. And that way you won't get anything that you don't need. Your teacher might say, I want an article from National Geographic. Well, that's a publication title. I don't know if they have a National Geographic here, but that's an example. You type the name of the magazine, the journal, whatever, and you search just in there. There's all kinds of ways. You can search only peer-reviewed journals. And again, that would mean academic journals that usually are asked for in AP classes. So you could kind of limit there and you wouldn't have to worry about getting other kinds of junk. There's really a lot that you can do when you start exploring around. So I really hope that you use the student resources and context, because it does meet the CARP test, okay? As credibility, authority, reliability, and purpose. They're all there. You will never find an article or anything else in here that is not allowed in your research. A teacher will never tell you it's junk. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.